for the sorry for the equilibrium, thermal equilibrium. And you know that I think I have already talked about that, about the sweating and all those things. Am I said that thing on the last day?
No, sir.
Okay, so you know that for hot summer, what is happening in our nearby nearby air is very hot, and the environment becomes hot, and but our body can sense that thing. So there is a thermal sensor on our body, and immediately it will try to, make the body temperature with the core temperature of the body. So to make the things similar, since the outer body is very hot, then what is going to happen? The body is releasing sweat. It is kind of some water added with some enzymes and added with some uh, body fluids. So which will come out, it will help to evaporate from the outside of our body, and that will help to reduce the temperature, because to evaporate the water from the outer surface of our body, it required the latent heat, and it that keeping that latent heat, the water will be evaporated, keeping the body I mean lower temperature behind, and that will help us to survive in that hot summer condition and hot weather condition. So that means here, without knowing or without controlling or without studying those things, our body generally do the thermodynamic. They are basically follow the laws of thermodynamics, and which is basically thermal equilibrium. So they are trying to keep the body with the thermal equilibrium. Generally, it is said that you don't take any cold water after taking the meals, because you know that every chemical or every organic or inorganic reaction or chemical reaction is basically governed by the laws of thermodynamics. And here there is a big role for temperature of the solutions. So here, if you take, after taking the meals, if you take the cold water or cold drinks like that, so after taking this food, if you take this kind of cold things, if you consume, then what is going to happen? Your food temperature will be reduced, and a different kind of compound will be created, and which is generally stored in our body. And that's why and that digestion system will change in such a way that the food, the way it is absorbed in our body, will not be usable, and that will be stored. And generally, those guys are having this kind of habit. After taking the food, they are taking the low temperature substance. They consume the low temperature substance. They are generally fatty in nature. So it is generally in Indian culture, it is avoid to take the low temperature substance or low temperature foods after taking the meal. So this is there is a lot of things, and every time there is some particular reason behind the old myths. Not every time, but sometimes they don't know the thermodynamics, but from the observation they have noticed that it happens. So that all the biochemical reactions are basically follows the thermodynamics. Even the blood groups and immunology also depends on the thermodynamics. Even the Brownian motion, what is basically a thermodynamical parameter. You know that the Einstein accidentally with his wife Mileva Maric, I pronounce correctly. Okay, so Mileva Maric was the first wife of Einstein, and both of them was the student in Zurich Institute. And even the Mileva Maric was the first lady who was studying the technology in Zurich Institute in Germany. Even he topped, that lady topped in this entrance test, and Einstein came at the last position. So Mileva Maric had wrote a theoretical paper on Brownian motion. Einstein helped a lot, and after getting married, Einstein published that Brownian motion paper with his name only, without leaving his wife's name from that copy. So it was a good, great story. Otherwise, the Brownian motion will be known as the Mileva Maric motion, or like that. But unfortunately, it was not there. And later on, Einstein left her with his wife. So Mileva Maric was depressed. At the last of his life, she was at depression because of this kind of behavior. Because she could be a very good scientist, but could not, because of the Einstein's behavior towards him. I mean, towards her. So it is a good story. If you can, I mean, if you wish to know, then obviously you can go through the Google. You can go through the BBC series on Einstein. So it is clearly showed over there that how brilliant his wife was, and I mean she entirely worked on the Brownian motion. So Brownian motion is basically found in the pollens. When you leave that pollens on the water, you find that that pollens are basically moving here and there, and it is as if the animals or some creatures is moving on the water, but it is not at all. They are not living creatures at all, but they are moving. Basically, here in this case, you can see that the how the particle interacts with the temperature, and basically she could able to, I mean, establish the real mathematics behind this motion. And later on, Einstein moved that calculation from the Brownian particle to the gaseous particle, and later on we have developed the gas formula and so many things that basically added with this. Van der Waals gas equations was developed. So that means the Brownian motion is basically helped a lot to study or to develop the science. I mean, even it was available in the biological field. So that was about the glimpse of the biology, which basically have changed a lot in the journey of the science. So as you can, I took this picture in the 1870, 17, okay, by the February at Chilka. So you know that there was a takeoff of a, I mean, you know that bird, and as it is taking off, you can see the similar kind of takeoff technologies basically see the of other birds also, but their wings shape and everything is different. So this is all our I mean picture of the takeoff of a bird. So when they are taking their first flight, you can see this is not my mind, this is I took from the internet, so this is not my mind. And now this one is also the picture of a taking off of a very heavy, you know, that jet. And recently, this is the US version one, and India already bought few of them. And then you can see the side view of this, I mean, aircraft, and you can also see the side view of the eagle, and you can see the body shapes are quite similar. Can you see that changes? And can you see that similarities?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
what is the
sir.
benefit behind them? So both of them, you know that if eagle miss any I mean prey, then what they do? They generally jump on the air, and they can, I mean, they can jump in the on the air, and they can take the opposite way. And the similar way, if suppose due to the some I mean attack or something like that, suppose a, I mean, bomber plane is missed is already the, I mean, target. Generally, what they do after missing the target, they generally come back to the base camp. But this kind of aircraft can jump and take another opposite direction, and can fulfill their, I mean, bombing I mean project, and they will be successful in any way. So this kind of technology is basically adopted from eagle to that particular modern bombers. As you can see here, generally what I think you have already seen this kind of, I mean, catching of the fish from the I mean sea surface or the water surface by golden eagles. So that golden eagle can carry the fish whose weight is 5 times heavier than that of their body weight. So when scientists was trying how it is possible to carry the 5 times heavier body with, I mean, with respect to their body weight, then they studied their, I mean, anatomy, their structure, their wing structure, everything. And you can see here their wing structure is basically biomimicked in the aeroplane to carry a very heavier object in their Boeing planes. So this is a, I mean, designing of a Boeing planes through which you can carry very heavier materials to carry from here to there. So here again, it is the golden Brahmin duck, as you can see here. And you also see that Brahmin ducks generally comes from the, I mean, Ladakh to our water body in different places in the winter time for breeding purpose. So generally they generally they follows a particular height to, I mean, height to, I mean, move from that Ladakh to this our area. So that particular height, when the scientists observe that when they're coming, they are not moving high and not they are not moving so low. They are moving through a particular area through which the air friction is very less. And to reduce that air friction and to travel from the Ladakh to this area without, I mean, leaving any halt in between. So they are reducing so many, I mean, they are compromising and they are developed so many things in their bodies biologically. So vast people worked on their anatomy, and they have developed the, I mean, commercial aeroplane to reduce the costing and to do the good business with that. So I think you understood how people was, I mean, implemented the structure and biomimicry to the modern science to do business, to develop the science, and to develop the everything which we require in our I mean, modern world. So now you can say the I mean, firefly. This is called the firefly. In Bengali, it's called the Jonaki. So every one of you in your childhood, and still people are already, I mean, if you are living in the village area, you can see at the night time. So they are emitting the light. You know that was helped a lot. That was helped the scientists a lot to create the LED light, because when the people was, I mean, watched at their body, they studied their body, what material make them, I mean, no electricity is there in your body, but how they are creating the light in their body. So later on, they find that they are giving a very small electrical pulse to the fluorescence object present in their body, and based on that, what material is exactly there in their, I mean, tail portion. And then we studied that some phosphorus, some fluorescent materials is there, and even some zinc oxide is also there. So use that thing as a fluorescence, and then we have developed the tube light. You have developed the color television, old picture tube kind of color television. Later on, we have developed the LEDs and so many things. So that firefly not only helped us to, I mean, develop so many things which we never imagined, but that helped and get had given us a path to develop in a different way. So now I will be showing you. I took this picture from the National Geography. Obviously, should mention it is not my mind. And this place, actually we have a story. I personally have a story. I was visiting. I think you have already seen that uh, picture at Chitrakoot. I took this picture. Previously, I have shown that. So this is the resort, government resort, just in front of the Chitrakoot resort. So me and DG sir was also there with me. You can see the DG sir over here. So we, both of you was enjoying the, I mean, night over there, and you can see the nice picture around that place. And this kind of picture I was trying to take, but this is not my, that was not taken by me. I was trying to take this kind of picture with my lens and camera system, but I could not. And finally,
This
when
is
I,
real picture.
yes, this is real picture. It is taken by some other people, not by me. I was trying to take this picture because the environment and the situation was quite similar. I was thinking that I'll be able to take even better that picture. But due to my, I mean, lack of knowledge on camera handling, I could not. And I was, I mean, trying overnight, and DG sir was also there with me. Both of we was trying to, I mean, adjust the camera system so that we can take this kind of picture, but we could not. And finally, at night time, when I was invented how to do this thing, then it was too late, and then I was not able to go outside the room because so many type of snakes are available over there, and the season when I got on over there, that was very risky, and that's why it was not allowed to take the picture outside, and it is a restrict me to come outside. And being senior, I had to listen. And finally, when we was coming back through the Raipur, it was raining outside, and I took the similar picture through the camera outside. It is the, I mean, road, and the backlight is there. You can see the backlight of the different cars, and it was giving a, I mean, nicest picture. So that picture is taken by me. Obviously, focused on the, I mean, front screen of the car. I was sitting at front, so I took the backlight picture like this. So uh, that means if you try to, I mean, mimic, you can do. I'm just telling you about that. Obviously, these things are not there in our syllabus. So now I'll be talking about the, uh, I mean, future where you can fix your life or you can fix your, I mean, destinations. There is a lot of engineering which, I mean, through where, I mean, where you can, I mean, project your life yourself if you wish. So tissue engineering, genetic engineering, I'll be teaching you the genetic engineering. And the neural engineering, the neural engineering is basically neural network is basically widely used in computer science and IT engineering. That pharmaceutical engineering is basically we don't have that much of brief because we need to have some knowledge on chemical engineering. And then clinical engineering, that bioinformatics, biomechanics, so many things are there, but so many other terms so many other branches are also there, like mechatronics. So people are now working on mechatronics. One of our CSC student just passed out. She is now the faculty at she is being added to the faculty in IIT Kharagpur. So Shromana, I forgot the name, title. I forgot the title. Shromana is the name. Oh, from Shromana Chakraborty. So she was doing a project on a wheelchair which can ride the stairs also. So that what kind of people generally sits on the wheelchair? They generally don't ride through the uh, uh, steps. But she already invented with the help of mechanical engineering. She was from the computer science engineering. So she added some artificial technology with the mechanical attachment with the wheelchair, and that wheelchair can ride that uh, steps. So that project was not only topped in the West Bengal, it was topped in India, then Asia, then it was gone to the France for all world basis competition. And due to her some loophole, she was a very moody, and finally she could not present it well, and that's why it was not topped. Otherwise, the technology what he applied is fascinating and astonishing. And the one thing, only she was the person who don't have that doctoral degree, but he compared out of these 7 competitors. Okay, so if you wish, then you can do a lot of things. And that Shumana Chakraborty has a lot of, I mean, achievements in this field, and that's why she is now working at uh, Kharagpur IIT as a faculty and researchers. So she passed out from the MCKV. So you should be proud for that. And now so many things are there. I'll not discuss each and everything. You just focused on only one. If you focus on each and everything, you'll not be able to get anything in your life. So be focused, and then choose your own interest. And if I go beyond time, then tell me, I'll be stopping over there. Am I within the times, or just time is over? How many time is left?
Sir, we have next class from 2:10 p.m.
Oh, 2 10. So now I can continue a little bit. Okay, so now we'll be discussing about the classification system. Classification system means, that in this world, so many creatures are there. Okay, oh no. Okay, so in this classification system, those guys are already came to the high secondary, and those people had a combination of biology at their high secondary level. Those guys, will not feel any problem. But people who don't have the biology in their combination in HS, obviously they'll face some problem. So for them, I'm telling you, these are the terms which we'll use frequently to understand the classification. So classification is nothing but a systematic way or scientific way to categorize the creatures in a particular system. So this is called the taxonomy. So in the following the rules of taxonomy, I need to classify the creatures in a particular category or categorize the things. So that study of categorizing the objects is called the classifications. Okay. So there is another way. This is called the identification. Identification is the just opposite way. If I found an object, suppose I'm not a biologist, I go to generally a biologist to identify, and this is called the identification. So classification is done basically for identification purpose. Okay, and this is basically goes through some rigorous process. The first of one is the nomenclature. This is a very tough things, and you know that there is some restricted rules, and that rules is to be known to all of you. So this is called the nomenclature. That means giving a proper scientific name for a particular creature is called the nomenclature. And then classification is the process of grouping animals and the plants into a particular convenient way. Okay, based on some category, based on some criteria that will be discussed later on. And now identification. So it is, I said, it is the just opposite process of the classification. And then taxonomy. Taxonomy is the study of different process of the classification. Okay, I'll be talking about the two kingdom system, three kingdom system, four, five kingdom system, and finally universal kingdom system. So all we'll discuss today. I don't know how much, but with what extent it will be discussed, but it will be just initiated. And then systematic. So systematic is the particular, I mean, way or the procedure through which we do the classification. And the new systematics is basically, that I have already talked about that the two kingdom system, basically plants or animals are classified over there. And then this is not no longer valid because so many other creatures are there. Those are not belonging in the both in the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom at all. And then we need to have another space, and that's why this two kingdom system is not, good enough. Obviously, I need a different kingdom system. So that means that studying on the different kingdom system is called a systematics. And now the new systematics is basically a particular studying of the, classification of the uh, taxonomical study. So this is the new systematics that will be later on. It will be discussed widely. So many creatures are there, but how can you rename them or how can you give them names? That is basically the work for the classification. But to remember the new classification system or new, taxonomical system, you should remain this sentence. This sentence, if you can remember, then all the things will be very easy to use. So Diamond King, you know that what is the Diamond King? You have already played that card. They know that what is Diamond King. So Diamond King play card on fat green stool. Okay. So if you can remember this thing, so Diamond King play card on fat green stool. So if you can remember, the rest of the things will be as simple as is it to you. So now look at this. So classification on the taxonomic hierarchy. So what you have just, have found over this sentence, basically look at this. Every first, letter is capitalized over there. So that first capital letters are basically representing this thing. Diamond King play card on fat green stool means basically we are talking about the diamond means it is the, I'll be showing you. Yes. So look at this. Look at the bottom. Diamond King. Okay, diamond means it is domains, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Okay, so all the terms here, the Diamond King play card on fat green stool. Okay, so you can see there, if you can remember, then automatically these things will come with the order. So here the kingdom means it is the biggest part of this thing. So here, suppose we are going to classify the puma, you know that this is a puma. It is generally available in northeastern European region or some Northeast American or well, Northeast American region. Okay, so how could you define this? So obviously, so I need to move from the domains to up to the species. So this is the particular species I need to space. I mean, need to put in a particular domain, and then kingdom, then phylum, then class, and then the order, then family, then genus, and finally I move up to the species. So I need to specify that species with a particular scientific name. So how can I do this? So look at this. So here in this case, first of all, we will be talking about the major classification or major category, which is called the domain. Okay, so basically the domain is the highest taxonomical rank in the hierarchy of the biological classification system above the kingdom. You have already seen that. So there are the three domains of the life, the archaea, bacteria, and the eukarya. So know that those guys, those materials of sorry, those creatures having the cells with a firm nucleus, this is called the archaea. So obviously here that uh, mm, here the puma is belonging in this category. That means here the body cells have the firm nucleus, and the body, the body cells have some outer shells, and that's why they are belonging in this eukarya. So here next we'll talking about the kingdom. So if even they are having some nucleus and some cell structure, so even that cell may be there in the animals, planet, fungi, system, monera. So many categories are there. So these subcategories are called the kingdom system. Okay, so animal kingdom, planet kingdom, and so many things are there. So based on that, based on that kingdom system, even the traditional five kingdom system scheme is basically available in our taxonomical system that will be discussed later on. But I'll not be teaching you that portion right on because it is there in your book, and you should also study based on which category or based on which criteria the two kingdom system, 3, 4, and 5 kingdom systems are basically that classification schemes are chosen. So I'm just giving you that, suppose that depending upon the mode of nutritions, like how they are taking the food, they are making its own or they are taking the food of others. I mean, they're taking the food for the other animals or planets. So depending upon that, this is the carnivorous or herbivorous. So based on that, we can define another kingdom system or mode of nutrition that we can choose. So based on that particular different criteria, that two kingdom system, three kingdom system, and 4 and 5 kingdom systems are basically adopted. So what criteria is applicable for what kingdom system, you should study on that. I have not developed any PPTs on that. And then we need to study for the phylum. So here the phylum means, you know, that it is in botany, it is called the divisions, but for the animal planet, it is called the, or animal kingdom system, it is called the phylum. Okay. So this is belonging in the particular phylum, and this phylum is called the chordata. You know that they are having some spinal cord, and this thing is basically a chordata. I'm not focusing on that because you are studying these things right from your I mean childhood, so I'm not focusing on that. So that classes is basically mammals and the mammalia. In generally the plural form, it is the mammalia. They are mammals, so they are mammalia. Classes is mammals, and then order is carnivora. That means they don't I mean make their food on their own self. So basically they take the foods as another animals as a food, and that's why they are carnivores. Okay, so this order is basically based on the kind of the food takings or kind of nutritions. So this thing is basically adopted in order. And now we'll talk about the family. Basically, that families are basically defined on so many factors. So here, these three factors are written over there. I'm not going through the points. So you should study. And their families is basically the this is called Fidale, Felidae, Felidae. Okay, so the family is Felidae, and you know that this is belonging in the cat category, and then some things is basically dog family, some comes from the cat family. So based on that, the genus is basically considered, and this genus is known as the puma. Actually, what the puma is there, that means the similar kind of hill cats are also available in Himalayan and also many other hill places, but all are not puma. So obviously, this puma is also a hill cat belonging in the cat family, but the puma, what we know as a North American or North European creatures. So how can we define their name? And for this purpose, I need to specify the particular genus with a different species. So species is a subcategory of the genus, and that's why I need to give the scientific name with a Puma concolor. So concolor is their species. Okay, so and finally, we should give the name of a puma, which is known as the puma, and that is a puma concolor. So this is the scientific name given with the following the taxonomical order. So we say only the last two things for the scientific name. Rest of the things is basically we categorize earlier, and it is not given as a name. So taxonomical scientific name of the puma is the puma concolor. And now we have already seen that this kind of pumas are now familiar. I think it is familiar to you, or may not be. It is depending upon your choice, but this is not the study. This is actually the part of the business. Okay, so that's all.